Welcome back to the DNaz channel. I am your host, DNaz, and today we are going to get into plants that help purify your home. We are always breathing in things that we don't see. We have a bunch of chemicals that we keep in our house, household products, and we have furniture and appliances that all have toxic, harmful things to humans that is always surrounding us in our homes, and we need to be aware of them, and we need something to help us, and Mother Nature is always here to help us. So I also want to go over the myth about how well they purify your home and how what you have to do in order to purify your home the right way. But first, let's go over how plants help you purify the air, okay? Plants purify the air through a process called phytoremediation, okay? They absorb toxins through their leaves and their roots, and then they convert them into less harmful substances, okay? You've all heard of photosynthesis. This is another way where they release oxygen. So if you live in a dry place, a dusty place, having plants around your home to help release more oxygen is very beneficial for you. So let's get into what kind of substances do we have in the air, okay? We have volatile organic compounds, otherwise known as VOCs, okay? These are carbon-based chemicals that easily vaporize into the air at room temperature. So that's the key right there, at room temperature. These are things that come on your products that you bring into your home, or that come on the furniture that you bring into your home, right? And they evaporate at room temperature. So they generally evaporate quickly. It's not like it's lingering, but you have to be careful bringing certain things into your home, and you have to be careful for which ones are dangerous in short-term exposure, and if you have things that you have long-term exposure towards, okay? So what type of harmful compounds are we talking about? Okay, these are carbon-based chemicals, right? So one, we have benzene, okay? This is a colorless, sweet-smelling, highly flammable organic compound that's usually found in places with heavy traffic, okay? A lot of cars, a lot of exhaust fumes. If you live in a city where there's a lot of smog from industrial emission, that is where you'll also find benzene. It's also in cigarette smoke. So if you live in an apartment complex and your neighbor smokes, or you yourself smoke, that smoke is seeping into the walls and it's staying there, okay? Benzene is linked to leukemia and respiratory issues and cancer, all right? So then we have formaldehyde. Most people think of this as like embalming. They don't think that it's all around them, right? But it's found in wood. It's used to treat wood, right? And a lot of building materials. So your furniture, right? So if you're buying a new couch, you're buying a new dresser, things like that that were just made, it's going to be in there. And these formaldehyde will evaporate at room temperature, and it'll be in your home. Okay, so you want to be careful. You want to air out your products before bringing them into your home, okay? They are also in things like paint, your carpet and fabrics, okay? So you got to be careful what type of fabrics you're putting in your home, your bed sheets, your curtains, okay? This causes throat irritation, and it's linked to cancer, all right? So then we have trichloroethene, okay? This is an industrial liquid solvent, and it's found in refrigerants, all right? So it's used to clean metal parts. So it's also found in adhesives, paint removers, lubricants, and spot removers. So, so if you're using like carpet cleaners, stuff like that, it is a known human carcinogen, and it causes kidney, liver, and immune system damage, and it's linked to fatal heart defects, okay? It's heavily regulated due to groundwater contamination risks. So this is something that if it spills, it's contaminating the ground. I don't know if you ever heard of radon. but every home before you buy a home has to be checked for radon. So this is a gas that emits out of the ground. So also the ground that you live on, right? Every day, the ground that you're on can have harmful chemicals and products in it, or your neighbor can have a spills chemicals in the ground. Now this is in the soil, and eventually it's going to make its way through evaporation up into the air. Okay. Then we have xylene and toluene. Okay. These are VOCs that are primarily found in petroleum refineries. Okay. Even at gas stations. If you're around a place with a lot of vehicle exhaust, again, that's where you're finding these type of compounds. Um, these two, xylene and toluene, these two are bad for short-term exposure. Okay, it can instantly cause dizziness, headaches, eye and nose irritation, and long-term exposure can affect the central nervous system, your kidneys, and your liver. Okay, so these are your quick rundown of your VOCs that you want to be aware of. Now let's get into the plants that purify the air. I want to start with the myth that you can just get a couple plants in your home and you are purifying your air. Generally, no. It takes for you to to put a forest in your home. You would need to completely surround yourself with plants to fully get an air scrub. But that doesn't mean you should be discouraged or turned away from getting these type of plants in your home, because they do help. It's just for them to help to the level where they are going to completely scrub your air, you would need a jungle inside your home. And some people might not mind that, you know? I mean, I sure wouldn't. I love plants. So, yeah, you're going to want more plants than you would generally think, but you should still get some household plants because they do help and they do release oxygen into the air. And it also provides a calming, relaxing environment having nature around you. So it's good. So let's get into the types of plants that you would want to put in your home if you wanted, you know, to scrub your home from air pollutants. Okay. So we have snake plants. These are great for bedrooms and they produce oxygen at night. So great for when you're sleeping, keep by your bedside. Okay. They filter toxins like benzene and formaldehyde. Okay. So that's two toxins that snake plants filter to the air. And there are many different types of species of snake plants. So you can find them almost anywhere you're going to look for a garden center for indoor plants, right? Then you have peace lily. This is effective at removing mold spores. So if you have black mold or if you have any type of mold or you're in a basement, right? Something like that. These peace lilies are great. They remove other toxins like ammonia and acetone. Okay. They're ideal for like bathrooms and humid areas. Okay. So then we have our spider plants. I also want to mention, so your spider plants are pet friendly, all right, but most of these plants are harmful to pets. So that's another thing that people aren't telling you when they are trying to sell you on, oh, buy these to scrub the air in your home, have these around your home. Well, if you have pets and you are a pet lover, then a lot of these plants you are not going to want in your home. But spider plants are pet friendly. They are child friendly. They are okay to have in your home. They are a great plant and they filter carbon monoxide and xylene. Okay. These are great plants that have, again, many different species. Okay. You have the Boston fern. This is a high ranking plant for removing formaldehyde and increasing your indoor humidity. Okay. So again, you got a dry place, you know, and you want to help that out, and you also want to purify your air a little bit. Get some ferns, some Boston ferns, right? Then you have your ivies, your English ivies specifically, but you can have your ivies lining your room, you know, growing around your room. You could put little hooks or tacks around to hang them from, and they will grow and stretch around your room, and it makes for a nice ambiance, right? And they are also removing benzene and toluene. Okay, so then there's other options as well. Like those are just like the main. Those are what NASA considers the air scrubbers. Okay, but you have Monstera. You have the Swiss cheese plant. They have broad leaves, but they have holes in them. Palm trees. These are better for you. If you are looking to fill your room, you can get a large palm tree inside your home. Okay, that'll help produce a lot of oxygen and help scrub the air. And then a household favorite is your aloe plants. Your aloe plants do these same things: help filter toxins, produce oxygen, and not only that, they're good for cures. So if you have a bad cough or your child has a bad cough, put some aloe, mix it with lemon and honey. That'll cure your cold and cough. Okay, so it's a good natural remedy, right? Um, Again, you want to be aware of what types of plants that you are putting in your home, and you're not really going to get a full air scrub unless you are completely surrounding yourself with plants. But again, put more plants in your home. It's beautiful to have around. It does help. It helps with your mental condition, okay? Helps with your depression. It helps relieve stress and anxiety, okay? And if you're putting things by your bedside, that's really great. You know what I mean? If you have sleep apnea, put a couple of plants on your nightstand so that they are releasing oxygen while you sleep, okay? Plants are a wonderful way to start healing yourself and getting used to getting back to nature and getting more in tune with your body, getting more in tune with Mother Nature. Start by getting a couple household plants, some good indoor plants that don't take a lot of watering. None of these plants, they don't really take a lot of watering. And, if you miss a little bit, it's okay. They're strong. They're really strong. They're going to live, So if you are the type of person that are prone to your plants dying, you're not great at caretaking, these plants are good for you to choose. So you've been watching the DNaz channel. If you would like more information about what plants help you be healthy and what kind of remedies you would like, if you want to get into natural holistic medicine, come to my channel, the DNaz channel, for more. Like and subscribe, and we will see you next time.